Record high demand, price increases, extremely low inventory. We are in a crazy market here in San Jose. Stay tuned for actual numbers. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman, your San Jose Realtor, and today we're digging into the monthly data on the actual market. As I predicted last month, January was going to be crazy. Huge price increases, extreme buyer demand, and we're just in a record market. So let's really look at the numbers and how it looks relative to history and dig into some of the trends that I see coming in the future. Okay, so looking here at the screen is an overview of the Santa Clara County market. You know, I like to start on this just to give you an idea of what's been going on in the last 20 plus years in this area as Silicon Valley developed. And, not a lot of building happened, but a lot of people moved into the area. And so it's really benefited the real estate market. So as you can see here, we are looking at several different colors on the chart. Orange and blue are the prices, orange being the average and blue being the median price. Yellow line is inventory, or the number of homes for sale, and the green lines are the number of closed sales that we've seen. So always keep in mind that closed sales are a trailing metric because it takes about 30 days to close escrow. So the local Silicon Valley market continues to be really strong. Supply is similar to only one time ever on record, which was in 2017-2018 winter transition. And the demand is extremely strong. We've got multiple offers still on almost every property. And the number of sales that we've seen in the past year is definitely stronger than what we saw in 2017. So we are in a definitely unique market. This is the 27th month in a row that prices have been up year over year, which is pretty amazing. And we are up standing 26% from January 2021. So 1 year, 26% increase in the home prices in Silicon Valley. So I'm gonna break that down into San Jose, and we're gonna then move forward talking a little more about that. So in the field, I'm seeing pending sales at record levels. You wouldn't believe in the areas that I work how many homes are selling over the $2 million mark. I've been blown away. Never thought this day would come, but I remember when that $1 million mark hit and people were pretty shocked by that. And yet here we are at double that. Yes. So the demand is just unprecedented, and we have very limited options, mostly because homes are selling so fast. So I'm going to go into some of the metrics. For example, how many homes are in contract already is a really good metric to show you how quickly we are just gobbling up that inventory. So looking forward, our supply should improve over the next few months. I mean, there's definitely usually some sort of a cyclical cycle. If you look at 2020 and 2021, we get more listings typically coming on in the summer. These past 2 years have been pretty low in that aspect. And I think that's really just due to the pandemic, people not feeling comfortable putting their house on the market or selling, or maybe people who are just financially holding on. But as you can see, 2018, 2019 were much higher levels, and it's kind of been working its way down actually over the last several years as Silicon Valley has really just taken off as a really big international hub for companies. So the demand is going to take quite a long time to settle because there is just still such a shortage of inventory and such a huge built up. The last property I sold just a few weeks ago had 18 offers, and I've got one coming into contract here this week. Multiple offers on all of these properties. So here's the slide that y'all probably are looking forward to. This is the actual metrics. I changed it up from what I've been doing in the past. I thought, you know what, let's have a fresh start for 2022. So this will give you maybe a little bit more idea of actual numbers and relative change. And so the average price in San Jose for single families was 1.66 million. Yes, really high average price in this area. That is up 2.4% from the previous month and up 25% from the last year. So if you remember in the very first chart, I talked about Santa Clara County was up 26%. So San Jose, not quite as much, but in general, really, really high appreciation. These prices continue to go up, and that is unlike seasonal trends. Typically in December and January, we see a dip in prices. Haven't really seen that. There are 77% of homes in contract, which is a little lower than last month, but actually quite a bit higher than the year before, 55% in January 2021. So a huge increase in the number of sales that are happening. Sales price to list price ratio is at a record of 113.9%. That is slightly above the previous record, which was in April 2018, 113.4%. So we've exceeded that record number amazingly. And last month was 112, which was really high, but we are still higher than that. And a year ago, to put it on relative scale, was 105% on average. Pretty insane, the change, right? So days of inventory is 17 right now, and that's just because the sales have slowed down a little bit when in December, and that number is calculated off the closed sales number. And the previous month we were at 8, and last year we were at 26. So we're still doing better than what we were doing a year ago. There have been 240 closed sales in January, meaning those are properties that went into contract in December. But look at, buyers were really out in January. 453 pending sales. That's double almost what we had closed this month, or what went pending right in December. So the number of closed sales is down, but that's really expected seasonally. The pending sales are up really strong, up from last month, which we would expect, up 30% from a year ago. Wow. So yes, that is why those prices are going so much over. They're just really, really strong. So here's back to the chart to give you a little relative idea of this. Prices are continuing to go up. Sales were down, right? And my forecast is that prices are going to continue to appreciate the next couple months until we just have more inventory. Maybe the higher interest rates start to dampen or level prices a little bit. You see this purple line here is the increase in pending sales that we've had year over year. So quickly, I'm going to highlight interest rates. They have kind of settled at about 3.55%. You saw there was a pretty good jump there at the beginning of the year, and I anticipate those continue to appreciate. The stock market went down, the S&P 500. So home prices on average, Santa Clara County actually dipped, unlike San Jose, which increased. And unemployment continues to drop. So let's look at the condos. The supply for condos is at near record lows. Again, we've only seen this type of market in the end of 2017, early 2018, but it's not quite as extreme in the condo market, unlike the single family market, which we actually were a little lower than that. Sales are holding really strong. Look above this purple line, how many condos and townhome sales happened in the last year. Significantly more than we've seen in a very long time. Maybe until 2006 did we see that kind of volume. So prices have really shot up based off of that, but there was a drop here seasonally. I'm not sure what's going on, if that's Omicron or people getting back to work, but pretty strong. So next, I want you to watch what is best for you to buy. Is it a condo or a house? There's a video I just did on that. Also, tour a listing with me. I have a Cambrian home I'll put here that we put on the market mid-February. Great property. I'm sure it's going to get a lot of activity. So check that out and do that walkthrough tour with me. Thanks so much for watching.